Hello everyone. My name is Crankshaft Deox, and welcome back to another episode of Crankshaft Deox Reviews Transformers Figures. Still working on the name, but it's whatever. And today, we have Legacy Evolution Frankentron. Now, since he's one of the few figures that I have that I still have the box for, put him off to the side here for now. And here we have Frankentron's box. Probably seen a lot of it. Rotating it sideways just so you can get a better view. You can see it's got the 2023 crossover, Frankentron down below, Transformers. Really neat looking photo of Frankentron, made by Takara Tomy, of course. Universal Monsters, Frankenstein slapped over the top, and on the side you get a VHS. On this side, Frankenstein with the VHS cover, authentic Transformers. On the top, Transformers. On the back, you get nice promo shots of all of Frankenstein's sort of, or Frankentron's sort of modes. And then, to finish it off, you can remove the cassette from its case, and you get a pretty neat looking cassette looking case. Almost gives off the vibe that you actually are watching a movie about a giant robot Frankenstein. Now, onto the main figure. And here we have, the background fell off, that's not good. And here we have Frankentron in his robot mode. I'm gonna be honest, I dig him. I like the impactor mold in general, so this is kind of a soft spot for me. The only thing I don't like is how his hands are stuck in the sort of forward position. I wish they could have incorporated a wrist rotation for that, even if it was still forced to be put in like this for the transformation. Or kept the pegs on the back of his hands. So say you're like me and you had a spare like grapple accessory, and you just toss her on there without worry about gluing it in and having the tank mode completely fubbernucked. Anywho, on to general aesthetics and design. Sorry, I'm still trying out some new camera recording technique, so bear with me here if it doesn't look too good. I have my camera set up in a way that I can watch it though as I'm going. But as for general aesthetic, he looks pretty nice. I like him. He's got the Frankenstein-y look, he's got bulk to him, he's got the look you want in a giant clunky robot. He's asymmetrical, as you can see, with one leg having like this nice little ankle bracelet, or like lock, I guess, if you really want to think of Soundwave as the type to put a lock in there. We also have an air vent here. The legs, sadly, are the same as the impactor, so nothing unique besides a sleek little Decepticon logo, or not little, but sleek Decepticon logo going down the leg. You have his chesticular region, has the Decepticon logo, which is definitely not the easiest to see, but you can see it like right there. You have an asymmetrical chest, and then arms, identical, sadly. I wish they could have done more with the arms, but yeah, that's about it. On his back, you get some really nice detailing if I remove his piece there. You get some nice purple detailing, and then you open up his back, you get a nice green plastic there, sort of similar to the ones on his shins for the cannons right here. Now, onto articulation. Head is on a ball joint, so he can look up not that far, look down not at all, but he does get the full 360 rotation. Arms are on a hinge joint and a mushroom peg, so you can get the full 360. And they go out just above 90, so he may not be able to be most posable like some, but he's got his charms. His other arm can do the same thing. The only issue is that it's hindered by a shoulder cannon a little bit, but you do it like that and you get the full rotation. He's got an elbow bend, no rotation, or sorry, he does have a rotation at the elbow, at the bicep. I got a, well, more transformation joint, but the ability to fold in his hand, unlike his counterpart impactors. Impacti? I don't know. Just the multiple impactors, who both have the folding in hand gimmick to replace it with either the, again, with the claw they come with, or the MechTech 5mm universal joint, whatever it's called. And then waist rotation, he has more so again a transformation joint. There it goes. The full 360. It can be considered a waist rotation. But similar to other Transformers, like the mainline Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, it's not considered a true waist rotation. He does, however, as all impactors should, have the obligatory ab crunch, again, more so a transformation joint, but enough that you can hit a sitting pose like this if you balance him correctly, where his waist is not where it should be. Or you can do this pose. Again, kind of funky, I know, but if you can do it, you can do it, and if you can't, don't force it. And now, you got forward, 90, backward, on one leg, a little less than the other, which I've noticed, purely because this, this little thing right here, the anklet, kind of stops it very prematurely. So one leg is perpetually more forward or backward than the other. You can see, like, with this too. Oh no, it's not the anklet, it's the other leg. Yeah, as you can see, like, this leg is a lot more down than this leg, even though both of them are pushed up as far as they can go. He's got a rotation at the knee, got a knee bend, 90 degrees flat, roughly so anyways. He's got ankle tilt all the way out, more for transformation, and he's got a toe bend, more for transformation, but can still be useful for hitting certain poses where it looks like he's about to take off running. And then, for the obligatory accessories bit, we have his little Tesla coil. I do like it. It's a neat little accessory you normally never see on a Transformer. However, it does not fit an impactor, either Siege or the Legacy Wrecking Room. I've tried it in both. I have not gotten it to fit properly, and I cannot tell you why. I've tried figuring it out. So far, nothing's come back positive with a proper reasoning to why I can't do that. However, he does have his lightning effect part. And what you do with this is more so based on how you like this, because as you can see, with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pegs on here, and the shaping of it, you can basically attach it to any peg. Personally, two favorites being that one and up top. But yeah, no, any peg works, as long as you think it'll work. And then, what I personally like to do with this is put it up top, and take it so it's facing this side, yeah, this side, so the peg on the bottom and the peg right here should be facing towards his back, and then you can put it on. Oh, sorry, that was the wrong way. This one right here, because the peg on the back should also have the circular peg having the angled one shoot that way. And then you get Frankentron marching off with his electrical current buff. And honestly, he looks pretty good. For a Halloween release, that's an okay retool of a very good figure. His robot mode definitely hits home. Again, push comes to shove, I do wish they could have added in rotating wrists, so that way he could have a bit more of a standing there sort of pose, instead of kind of looking like he's about to drag his fists on the ground like a numbskull. And for size comparisons, we have Armada. I know I fucked it up last time, I'm sorry. We have Armada, Megatron, and Starscream, so not too tall in the continuity of things. We have Legacy Bludgeon. Again, not too tall, not too short. It kind of fits in decently. And then, as a funny little add-on, and one of my more favorite ones, we have Kingdom Warpath. Arguably the best tank, and you can't fight me on that. And, just to clear everything out right now, we do have a little reference in size, in the form of Duty series Mirage, who I reviewed last video, gave my thoughts on. Again, if you can find them on sale, you get them on sale. If you can't, he's still a worthwhile pickup, but don't get him more for the average deluxe price point, because otherwise it's kind of a ripoff. Anything more than deluxe is no-go. And now, moving on to transformation. We shall start with the head. Well, first we should start with the accessory, just putting it off to the side. Now, for the head, what I do on every iteration of these is when you take this and open this up, rotate the head an 80, push it down. And then to get it back out, because I'm not going to be doing a reverse transformation this time, but to get it back out, personally, stick your thumb in there and then push it up. Now there is a trick to this with the Impactor series, and I will show it next time when I review him, because I think what I'll do is I'll put up a channel poll and see what you guys think of either having Legacy Impactor reviewed next, Legacy Armada Prime in the background reviewed next, or Legacy Bludgeon, because I know people want to get the Tarn mold, but I've heard 50-50s with Bludgeon. Personally, I do like him though. He's got a soft spot for me. Anyway, so now, once you've done all the proper bottom of the leg stuff, because really you can do this in any order, and as long as you line up the legs, you're golden. And then, yeah, that done, what you want to do is lift up his chest plate, fold the, and this is something I don't notice till like after I untransform him every time for some reason, but you want both the arms to have these silver parts pointing up, because when you push these down, and it will very much so make sense in a second, you push these down and then they just line up properly without the fidgeting that comes with if you didn't. And then put his cannon on like this, and then first arm like this, second arm like the first, if this doesn't want to pop out. Be very appreciative if it didn't. And then we have Legacy Frankentron in his tank mode. And being honest, it is a pretty kick-ass tank mode. Something I forgot to touch on the robot mode too is this turret isn't removable like Impactor's is. It is purely one piece, meant to stick together. And then, as for articulation on the tank, because, you know, Transformers tanks always seem to have it, as for mentioned, the ab joint, waist joint, whatever you want to call it, joint, is the barrel of the tank. His cannon can move up and down if it doesn't unpeg. That's something I've noticed with Frankentron, is that his turret is very prone to unpegging. Not in like a bad way, just you fiddle with it, it unpegs. You don't fiddle with it, it doesn't unpeg, but like, then it unpegs by itself naturally, and it's just a whole kerfuffle that really shouldn't be as annoying as it is. And then he's got pretty fine rollability, to be honest. Not the best. And then for size comparisons, we have Wreck and Rule Impactor. And you know what, just for the hell of it, I'll do a retransformation, just to show off both of them standing side by side. We have his squad mate, Legacy Wreck and Rule Twin Twist, and just to get a bit of variety in here, because we had a Seeker in the robot mode, we have Legacy G2 Cloud Coverage. As you can see, he scales up pretty well. The only thing I'd really say he has over Impactor, other than both of them being identical, probably the color scheme and the turret. I like Impactor's a little less than I like Frankentron's. Now, getting everyone but these two out of the way, to start with the untransformation, and this is for both of them, like one works for the other, flip the cannon over. I know it seems weird to do like right off the hop, but you'll understand why. Also with Impactor, just pop off the drill bit, toss it onto his hand if you want, since if I'm not mistaken, yeah, okay, so like that. Now, split their legs, and this is the only time when really splitting their legs or like dealing with their legs first is mandatory, because it'll save a lot of time and effort. Ow. Oh, that's not good. That's never happened to me before. Oh, time to put you back in. And then pull you off. Come on. There. Okay, now, with both of their legs, like that. Sorry if the view is not the best. I will probably do a better view with Frankentron to show it off, but you get to this state, and the first one like second. Take his legs, split off the feet from the 2 pegs in there that you put them on to get his tank mode. Fold them down, fold his feet in like this. There we are. And you fold out his tootsies, and then you fold it in to hide away his robot. And then you have sentry mode. A little fan transformation that I don't think hurts anyone. I mean, look like they're straight out of War Robots, if any of you are old enough to remember the prime of that game, with the Schultz. But yeah, pretty funny. Anyways, to continue, so Frankentron, a bit different from up above than Impactor. So you want to take the torso, you want to split one arm first, because once that one arm is situated, you don't have to really like rotate everything into place yet. It's just easier to do so. And then the second arm comes out flawlessly, no issues. And then rotate everything into place, fold out the hands, fold out the other hand, and then here's a little thing that I've noticed with these guys. Their torsos are built a bit weird. Because they're meant to keep these in place, and these pegs, like right here and right here, need somewhere to go, you want to have their armpits almost like flared open like this, like without their shoulders moved, but this part flared out, so that way when you close that in, you can push this in its place, and it'll just sit there. Locked in, not entirely, but enough that you get like a soft ratchet, or soft click. And then fold out the back, pull up the head, rotate it to 180, and then you got Frankentron back in his robot mode. And then to pull him off camera just so I can do this a bit quick. Plug in the Tesla coil in the back, and now we can stare at his fellow mold mate's simplicity with his tank mode. Now to do Impactor, you can split the arms, because I don't know if this is something that happened with everyone's, but mine has a really, like, it's snug, but it doesn't like to hold itself when you try to transform it. It's almost like a really decent like click. Anyways, so you do the same thing with this Frankentron. Lift up his armpits, push this down, push in the arms, rotate the arms, except this time you don't have to do both hands, because unlike Frankentron, Impactor can actually have his guns or his weapons in his knuckles in place of his hand. And then the part that I will say, this is kind of like a mini review for Impactor, but I will do a full one maybe later. But with Impactor, what you want to do is kind of turn his head to the side until you get a grip, and then you can lift it up. And you know what, I'm going to call this a double review. Why not? So here we have the boys, the tankiest of tanks, if you will. And they both look really good in their robot mode. Again, Impactor does what Frankentron can't, Frankentron does what Impactor can't. It's really a battle of who you prefer as your stand-in sort of Impactor tank. Personally, I prefer both. Again, there's not really one better than the other. Both of them have like their one glaring issue. But if I had to pick one, I would say the IDW Legacy Impactor. Just because I like his color scheme and his design. It feels the boxiness without being too boxy, but at the same time, Frankentron does that too. Again, if his hands were rotatable, Frankentron would be the win, hands down. Anywho, now that all that's been sorted, I think this is a good time to call it quits for now. Thank you for watching this content, and thank you for the views on the last video. It means a lot to me to have that many people already watching. So, I've been Crankshaft Deox, and until next time, remember, They can make a clone of you, but they can't make a badass version of you. Or, in Impactor's case, they don't all three. Now have a good day, fellas and lads and laddies and everyone else in between.